7 is coming. for your attention. We have to skip some movements. So, the answers. So, how about the first thing? Everybody knew that piece? Anybody knew that piece? No. So, it was a violin sonata by Johann Sebastian Bach in G major for violin and basso continuo. Its first movement worked perfectly for the flute. You must try it, okay? The first version, so I played it in in 4 versions. The first version I tried to reduce the original ornaments. It's fully ornamented piece. So I tried to play only some main notes. Yeah, it's not so easy. So it's much easier to play that what is written. Yeah. Then the second version was almost the original, but I added some things to the original, richly ornamented version. So I played maybe 20% more notes than written, and the third version was the original Bach. Yeah. Flutists don't really know this piece. It's great and almost perfectly playable on the flute. So try. Okay, the fourth version was the number 4 was the same piece. I mean the same bass line. Yeah. But somebody, maybe Johann Sebastian Bach, maybe one of his sons, most probably Carl Philipp Bach, composed 2 new voices based on the same bass. Yeah? And it's a trio sonata for flute, violin, and basso continuo. We played the first movement of that, but on a way that Gwen played the violin voice and I played the flute voice. It's a beautiful trio sonata. But you know that piece, probably you recognized, or not? It's really good, beautiful piece. Then, number 5, any guess? Yeah? I saw that book, the Quantz flute, playing the flute, such a thick book. So that book contains a beautiful adagio, a slow movement, in 2 versions, a simple version and an ornamented version, and about 20 pages explanation on how to ornament slow movements. And it's really great. That chapter is really good, and all the entire book you need to read. Okay, so that was number 5 and 6. So first I played the simple version and then the ornamented version. Okay, number 7. Did we play number 7? Oh yes.
Yeah.
So you recognized it, yeah. So it was obviously Bach E major sonata first movement, reduced. Yeah. Have you ever tried that? Yeah. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, reducing and yeah. We can immediately after this work a little bit on that maybe. Yeah. Okay. But most of you recognize the movement, or not all. Huh? It was easy to recognize, yeah. Especially because of the beautiful harmonies and the bass line. Okay, number 8 was... Yes, exactly. Yeah, again a reduction. Yeah, and it's just I must stop here because we will not have time for lecture or whatever. So here in this movement, second movement, B minor sonata, Bach is demonstrating all the most basic techniques for ornamenting. Yeah, when having a simple melody, how to ornament it with scales, connect bigger intervals with scales up and down. Mix up with strange notes, appoggiaturas, grace notes, which are not part of the harmony. Okay, make some jazzy syncopation. Yeah. Yeah, or yeah. So all these things. So these are very simple and very cheap solutions. They are patterns, they are very simple techniques. You need just to recognize them when reading some piece already written out ornaments, and then to keep in mind and practice them eventually in different keys, and to apply it in your own ornaments. So easy. Well, that's a short version of of the story, but basically it is for improvisation and for ornamenting. You don't need to have special skills. You don't need to have some extraordinary talent or inspiration, or no. It is just to understand, to analyze existing examples from the 18th century. We have plenty of them, and keeping in mind, transpose them, practice it in different keys, and apply. So simple. Yeah. So it's just a systematic work to build up. Everyone can do that. It's nothing very special. Okay. So next was which number it was?
9.
9. Thank you. We skipped 10, right? 11 was Corelli. Yeah. Yes, the most beautiful. We could not stop. It's so great music, you know. Corelli, it was a violin piece from the Opus 5 violin sonatas. First we played the simple version, how Corelli himself published it for the violin. Then we played an ornamented version from edition published in Amsterdam, so not even in Italy, full of ornaments. And beside that Amsterdam edition, we have at least 10 different publications from 18th century. Most of them were in England, but some others elsewhere. Yeah? And it's a very nice version. Maybe Corelli did it on this way, who knows? Yeah? Okay. But I was playing that what is written. It was nothing improvised. Okay, that was 11 and 12, then 13 was... Oh yes, 13?
Pardon?
No, before that we had, of course, it was 14 Handel. Yeah, that everybody recognized, but you were first. No, it was, you might know, because you...
I know it was G Major.
Huh?
I know it was in G Major, I think.
Yeah, okay, but you are going to play Hotteterre, so it was Hotteterre from that book about prelude. So Hotteterre, this great French composer and inventor of the, more or less, of this modern flute, something very new in the 18th century. He published a book about how to improvise preludes. Yeah, it's a quite thick book. Contains very beautiful examples. Yeah, so it's not only teaching us how to do that, but we must finish now. Just very briefly, so Hotteterre, Handel, obviously it was, I added some notes, did not really prepare it, but some of them I did it, maybe on this way a while ago. 15 we skipped, 16, she played a solo piece. What was that? Bach, yeah? It was the 6th French suite Sarabande, so it's a keyboard piece. And after that I played a transcription made by myself for the solo flute, diminution, yeah? Yeah? So I used, it was based on the same harmonies, but a horizontal way, yeah? As I cannot play multiphonics. I can play some, but not enough for playing that piece. Okay, so and then everything else was clear, right? we played, oh, then the last one, very last one was a beautiful violin sonata again from Geminiani, original ornament. So I did not add anything. It was quite crazy ornamentation for the violin, but at that time in England they published this sonata for the flute. So they made a transposition to D major. Original was E major. The original was a lot of ornaments. The transcription does not contain those ornaments, but obviously you can combine them, and that's it. It's very well playable. Yeah. So bit of E major. Come. You have a very flexible embouchure, and you should play maybe the Baroque flute. It's very, because that sort of embouchure is really not good for this instrument, because you must make a lot of corrections. But you do it so nicely. It's very nice. Okay, so how to make it sounding like improvisation? Improvise. So, well, that's the answer. So you said that you ever tried to make a reduction.
Yeah, a couple, like a kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Try it. Show me how you do it. It was almost the same, but I didn't play. Yeah. Okay. So how to solve this problem? It's not a problem, but how to solve this? I would say try first improvise anything based on this. It doesn't matter if it doesn't sound well or you go wrong. That's the way of learning this. Try to add some notes, but if possible, not in that direction. So it helps very, very good. So when you try this first, that you try to take distance of the existing improvisation, and then when you see a scale up, then you go down. If you see so and so on and so on, so you don't really follow that line of the original.
Okay.
voice. Okay, so try to add some notes to this reduced version. Anything, and don't worry, it can go wrong. I did so many wrong notes and mistakes before.
I'll see what I can do.
And next version. So I would say you should try to create at least 10 different.
10. Okay.
You know, 10 second. Not now. We go until 3 maybe. So how is your new version? So try something else.
Try something
Yeah?
else. That you need always to go down when it goes up, but it helps you eventually. I was trying to make it as opposite as possible.
I know. Okay, but what is difficult here? I think you don't really have the harmonies in your ears yet. So I think that would make much easier your job. And how about, can you play a bit any keyboard instrument? Sure.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Okay, so let's sit down at the piano or harpsichord or whatever. Sit down and play right hand, flute, left hand, bass. Why is it good? Because it's very good to take distance of the original composition. And it's very good to take distance of your flute, and very good not to move your fingers on the way how you are normally moving, you know, because your fingers are leading you very often when you improvise. So, but it should come from here, not from here, okay? And then you repeat it 10 times, try to do some verb from beginning till end, and then the 11th one is that one that is written there, and then it will sound like improvisation. Yeah? Then it will sound like your own, yeah, and not like Bach's version. And that's the goal. And it really works, believe me. So try it. Yeah, and maybe another advice that you could try to skip some of the downbeats and some of the beats. So, for example, this is a very good example. Bar 6, first beat. It's not a basic change of harmony. So we have this dim, bum, so we are in B major, or at the end of bar 5, and beginning of bar 6 we are still in B major. So why to give such a big emphasis on the first beat? So just continue, and here you have bar. Let's play bar 5 for that the others understand where we are. Bar 5. Yeah. Bar 5 and a bit with those additional 3. Yeah.
Mine has absolutely the wrong numbers.
Look at this too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
Huh? So that means that here, between the 4th beat of the previous bar and the 2nd beat of the new bar, you are completely free. So you don't even need to be perfectly together with the harpsichord. If you are not together, it's even better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it
can be a good training for you. And this is just an example. You have at least 5 or 6 similar moments with this movement.
To, like, take
Yeah.
time.
So and play with and you can play a little acciardo. You can play this a little slower, finish a bit faster when you run out of time, or when you're too early there, then you break, and then you can acciardo and run and whatever. Yeah, it's good to do this. And maybe another practical advice: you need to find a good tempo. If it's too slow, it makes very difficult to be free.
I played it too slowly.
No, it was quite fast. So and that's the other hand. So it was a little too fast for being free. So some little tiny little bit slower. Yeah. Just okay. So we are in a little problem with the time. So that was for today.
Okay.
Let's hope to continue. On the 7th, I'm going to teach all day here. After I will tell you, and it's free. You can come, you can listen. So it's a sort of masterclass, but a normal one. Yeah. So and it would be nice to see you. It's free. The door is open.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, there are some mistakes in that modernization, right? Yeah. So it's a beautiful piece, and you are a great player. So you have such a beautiful sound and color and very stable sound. So that's why I don't understand why you are not risking a bit more. Crescendo diminuendo, so making some culture, and most of all, flattements.
Because
you
I
did
don't think
once.
I've ever learned properly to do flattements.
Okay.
It's funny, I've been doing harmonica forever.
Okay, but you did once, but that was also not the very best fingering you used. Yeah, because I mean, some flutists are using it for hiding their problems. Yeah, it's the same with the modern flutes, right? But it gives you a lot of flattement is the finger vibrato described first of all in Hottettere's flute method, and that's very interesting because this is one of the possible ornamentations. So it is an ornament like trills, mortant. So I don't use the French terms just to make it understandable for everyone. So mortant, grace notes from down, from up, and finger vibrato. Okay, so these and some others. So this is a simple version. And then he explains how to do this, but it's not a very detailed explanation. So he says something like at the edge of the finger hole we can do it, and in some cases it's not possible. Then we use one of the open finger holes completely covered. So, and we have some sources for this. Hotteterre is first, but some others we have giving slightly different fingerings, but there is a mainstream tendency, and then we can say that basically we should try to do this on the first open finger hole's edge. Yeah. So in the case of A, it's quite obvious. Yeah. Okay. And in the case of the B, so try to do the A.
It's a bit like vibrato on the flute. I never play vibrato on modern flute.
Yeah.
I know how to do
you
it
have a
technically, but I don't know how to
beautiful
play it.
straight note, so it's not a
Yeah.
boring straight sound, but
Right.
it's really beautiful. But to make it even more beautiful, why not? Yeah.
Sure, no, of course, it's
Uh,
also
so-
a low register. Or?
Try the second register. So A,
A.
play an A, and on the third finger hole. It's quite good. Yeah, but obviously you don't yet feel where is the edge of the hole. So
Right.
I think sometimes you were covering a little too much.
Probably.
And so, yeah, because you are not used to do that. So yeah. Okay. Next, which is very easy on the B. Low register or high, it doesn't matter. Very good. G. No problem. F sharp. Okay. The E is again, so we will do it on the same way. Only problem is that the six finger hole is so little, it's very easy to miss it or to cover too much. Yeah, so try to find the edge.
I see.
Good. You are doing something very interesting. So she was trying first to do it like this with a curved ring finger and finding the edge and not to cover too much. That was very, very smart. But then after a while she changed mind and she applied another technique spontaneously, so with a straight finger, and you did it exactly in the same way how Indian flute players do, with these very stretched fingers. And the same way how we see in medieval paintings and wall painting is, yeah? Where flute players very often like this, yeah? So with straight fingers. Okay, we don't see in the painting whether they play just a vibrato, but I mean to cover the finger holes like this, it's fine, yeah? And many Renaissance flute players, when they play today, I mean playing on this so-called Renaissance flute from 16th, 17th century, for the high A, you have this fingering doesn't work, so you must play the D fingering and open tiny little, and therefore it best is to keep the left and ring finger straight, you know? It's because you cannot curve it, you know? Okay, so, but the problem is that we don't have any very exact description of this technique. So it's described by Quantz, described by Hotteterre, some other French sources, mostly French sources, but not exactly how to do this. So probably it was like as you like. So up to you. You must find your way. Yeah.
So of course, when they are consecutive fingers, it's obvious because you just do the next one. What about things like G
Yeah.
sharp?
Okay.
reduced
So
stress?
F natural is still no problem.
Yeah. So you only have one left.
Okay, only have one left, but there are some other notes where only have one left and it's not working. So try the F natural, it's no problem. Yeah, with little practice it will be really nice.
Okay.
Okay, how about G sharp in the low register? You see, it's possible, or B flat is the same. But how about D, the second D, the middle D? We have one finger hole left. There's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. It doesn't really work. And then we have no really good instructions in those books. Maybe in one of them we have this idea of, instead of covering the finger hole just to open the second hole, to do it like this. Just very little, half millimeter, less than half millimeter.
Actually,
It's too much.
no, I know.
Something like this, yeah, it could work. Okay, how about E flat or D sharp in the second register?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, it would be sort of logical to move the key and in order to open and cover it a little, but it's not possible to control the key, so it's not really good. So what else can we do when playing the E flat? Doesn't work?
Obviously not.
Doesn't?
So lift a little bit one of the fingers. Move the flute.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Already.
So there is an English flute method, well, around, I don't know, 1730 or so, shake the flutes. Yes, yeah. And some other descriptions we know where it's
And what about
translated.
chest vibrato in this case? Maybe could be.
Well, it's a long story. I believe they did it. There is no description of that. And even we have some very negative opinions from 18th century sources. But if you have a negative opinion written in an 18th century document, it means that they did it. Yeah, but maybe it was not really recommended. I believe they did. But it's better to start with straight notes and finger vibrato. And here you have great opportunities to do so. Let's play together. There is an interesting thing that you might ask whether vibrato is to be played on the final note, so in a final cadence, yeah?
Or in dissonances.
Yeah. Well, on dissonances it's very good. Yeah. Well, why not? It's to make it more expressive. But about final notes at the end of a phrase or the piece, there's a very beautiful example. So a suite by J.P.H.Telemann. He was a contemporary of Hotteterre. Have you ever played something of?
Yes, not as thoroughly as others.
And do you remember those wave signs, which mean most probably vibrato, but there is no explanation in the book. Yeah. So in that collection, so we don't know, we just can guess. And you have those signs on some long notes and sometimes even on final notes. Yeah. And since it's quite not very long time ago, I saw this for the first time. I realized that it is really possible, and why not to apply here too. And Hotteterre writes something like this in the foreword of this book, that you might apply finger vibrato in longer notes, but what are longer notes? So quarter note, half note. So depends exactly. And there is one very important technical aspect of this. So you can use it for controlling the intonation. 1 minute. Okay. Controlling intonation. So when you make let's say devotion, crescendo, diminuendo, you can make your finger vibrato and cover more and more, and then less and less. Yeah? So something like. So you start finger vibrato at the very edge of the finger hole, and then you move slowly towards the middle, and and then come back. And then on this way, when you do it properly, you can get a perfect stable intonation and crescendo, diminuendo, and vibrato. Let's make another last version, and then we must finish, unfortunately.
Sure.
Yeah?
Maybe I'll take it a bit slower to have time to react. For
Yeah,
this
yeah,
much,
yeah, okay.
Because I'm not used to it, so
Don't drop the flutes.
don't know what's
yeah?
going to happen here.
Very good. So we must unfortunately finish as a very last advice. Try both. So this is fine. This is allowed. I prefer this version, the curved finger version, because like this I can control a bit better things. I believe I have more nerves here to feel, to touch better. But maybe it's wrong. But practice both versions. You did very good.
I was just trying to remember what finger went where.
Yeah. Okay, there are very good fingering charts for Flatmans as well, and a very good overview, or at least two very good overviews of all possible Baroque flute fingerings and trills and Flatmans. Yeah. If you give me your email address, I can send it to you.
Yeah, it's funny, all the material is there finally, and I'm looking forward to stop being a student to look at all the material coming, because I always run into it, but I never really
I remember this feeling. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much for contributing and playing, and I'm very sorry for it's really